Hi, good day. My name is Clay Hammond. I'm here on behalf of DelawareBlack.com, interviewing independent senatorial candidate Alex Pires. We're going to have a really interesting discussion today about some issues that relate to the African American community. So, first, I want to welcome you, Al.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to ask you some questions specifically targeted towards the African American community, which is the demographic of Delaware Black. Tell us why you're running for the U.S. Senate.
Thanks. I've got businesses in southern Delaware, down in Sussex County, and I started a bank, and I have a law practice too, but I haven't really had a voice in government, really didn't want a voice, to be honest, until most recently when I feel like Delaware has become kind of corrupt, and that big business, particularly the big banks and the big corporations, have really taken over the state, and I feel like particularly in the black community, there's about 180, 190,000 black folks living here in Delaware. They don't have a real voice anymore, and nobody speaks for them. If you look at state government, there's very few blacks. If you look at the federal government, the senators, the congressmen, nobody really speaks for the black community. I've had a history of working with the black community because of my lawsuits. I represented the black farmers throughout the country, and I've had a number of cases, and I've worked with black lawyers like J.L. Chestnut, who from Selma, Alabama, who represented Martin Luther King. I've had some experience in the black community, and I think I can do something to help the black community, African Americans, have a voice. And if you want, I can give you some examples, but that's the short answer.
Sure, give us a couple examples.
I think part of the problem is that the corporations in Delaware, the big banks, J.P. Morgan, and Bank of America, and Citigroup, are so big and so powerful that they've really taken control of our two senators and our congressmen, and our leaders do what they want them to do, what the banks want them to do. So let's take bankruptcy. There was a proposal to the bankruptcy law that really would hurt black communities and middle-class whites and middle-class and lower-class Hispanics. It was a very bad idea. It was only going to hurt the working-class person. Mr. Copper pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. That law got changed. It's hurt a lot of black, a lot of Hispanic, and a lot of white folks. I think it was a mistake. I think it was a bad idea. Who benefited? The big banks benefited. The black community got hurt. Then there was a challenge to the credit card rule about swipe fees. There is about 40,000 small businesses in Delaware. They take credit cards. They have to swipe them through a machine. There's a fee for that. There was a proposal to reduce that fee, which would have saved every small business person thousands of dollars a year. Copper fought it because it was going to come from the pockets of the big banks. Those are just two examples of what I thought were rules and laws that were bad for the black community, and Copper went the other way. He, in effect, voted against the black community. I think the third issue is I don't think he ever really cares about the black community until 2 months before the election. That's my personal feeling. I don't think he really makes an effort. Why? Because the banks have more money, and that's where he spends his time.
So since we're here on Delaware Black, it's obvious that you want to make a concerted effort to connect with the African American consumer and voter. Why is that?
Because every time I turn around, there's unfairness. I mean, I was over at Dell State with the Coach Greg Jackson, and he brings me around and says, look at my facility. And now look at the University of Delaware. Well, the University of Delaware is essentially a white university. They've got an unbelievable facility. You go to Dell State, they've got essentially a high school facility. What a coincidence. That's a black university, a traditional black university. University of Delaware is a white university. So I said, they're both the pride of Delaware. Why don't we have a better facility for our black university? Because nobody's out there. Where's Copper? Where's Coons? Where's Carney fighting for more funding for Dell State to get them better facilities? That's just one example of what I call inherent obvious unfairness. If you got a pair of eyes, whether you're white or black, you go look at those two facilities, they're not equal. Now, some people would say, well, the University of Delaware gets better funding. I don't care about those technical arguments. That's an athletics facility, like a basketball or a football stadium, what the public sees. And they should be equal, and they should be funded equally. And it takes your leaders to get out there and say, I don't want black and white folks come to Dell State and see an inferior facility, because you're implying that the university is inferior, when actually it's a very good university.
Well, understanding that the majority of African Americans vote Democratic, what is a rationale for someone to vote for you as an independent?
The black community's always voted Democratic, and I understand that. And I know it's perhaps a little scary for them to see somebody who's an independent asking for their vote. But this is my logic. I was a Democrat for a long time, for 30 years. I am not a Democrat anymore because I don't feel like they represent the people that I want to cheer and champion. The black community needs to look at the Democrats and say, and particularly Mr. Copper, and say, is he really doing something for us? Is he doing something for the black church? Well, you should talk to the members of your church and see what he's doing. Is he really doing something in the inner city? Is he really getting jobs? Really? Well, if he really cares for the black community, why did he get the bankruptcy law passed that hurt black families? Why didn't he reach out and help Del State? Why didn't he look at the swipe fee for credit cards, which he knew was going to hit small businesses? Most black businesses are small. If you go out through Delaware, you're talking about 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 employee businesses that hurt them. Every one of those black businesses that took credit cards got hurt by Copper when he could have helped them. So I'm saying to the black community, vote the person, not the party. I'm somebody who has a long history of helping people, and I believe in equality. I was out there 17 years ago, 16 years ago. Johnny Cochran was a very famous black lawyer, wouldn't take the black farmers case. That's how it came to me. They ran out of black leaders in the South who wanted to take that case. It was very expensive. I took a chance on it. I won over $1 billion for black farmers throughout the country, and that's a fact. And I got J.L. Chestnut involved from Selma, Alabama. J.L. used to represent Martin Luther King. I traveled the country on behalf of the black community, and the most important thing is I won. Was it perfect? No, I don't want to BS you, Clay, and say I did a great job. I did a good job. I got the money for the black community. I didn't take any fees from them. I got paid by the court. Was it controversial? Sure. I mean, the fact of the matter is you can't go to the white community that has the money, which was the government, and take $1 billion from them and think they're just going to love you and say, oh, well, hey, that's great. I got beat up in the process, as did the black lawyers, but we won, and we set a precedent. And now I feel like throughout the country, when a black man goes in to the government's office for USDA, in the back of everybody's mind is, this is the same guy who just whipped us. This is the same black guy who just whipped us for $1 billion. We may want to listen to what he has to say. Who knows? He may be calling Pires or Chestnut and starting up another lawsuit. So I think it was a good lesson. So I want to help out. I'm not a perfect person. I got problems like everybody else, but I feel like my heart's in the right place.
Well, thank you for taking a few minutes to really just enlighten our community about you, why you're running, and just a little about your passion you have for trying to get the seat for the U.S. Senate. So I want to thank you, and everybody be sure you vote on November 6th, and there's going to be a very important debate sponsored by Delaware Agents for Change at the Easy and Fair Baptist Church in Southbridge on November 1st. So we encourage everybody to come out to that event. Thank you.